In today's video, I'll break down the cost of living in Canada for you segment by segment, from rent to utilities to food to insurance to phone bills to internet, and all the major costs that you'll be covering as a student in Canada and also as a permanent resident in Canada. I will also give you a total monthly budget breakdown and of course money saving tips to save you money while at it. So make sure you watch till the end. Give me a thumbs up, like this video, and subscribe to my channel if you're not, so that you have exclusive access to informative and valuable videos like this one. Without further ado, let's get right into the video. Hi loves, if you are new here, welcome. My name is Mara. If you're returning, thank you for coming back to watch another video. Today we are going to be talking about something very important, which is the cost of living in Canada for students in 2025. However, this video does not apply to students only, because if you live in Canada, the cost of living is pretty much the same for everyone. Also, whether you're planning to move to Canada or you're already in Canada, this video is going to be very informative for you. And because this video will be speaking to the students as well, the first is going to be the tuition fee. Second will be rent and utilities. Third will be food and groceries. Fourth will be transportation. Fifth will be insurance. And the sixth would be other expenses like miscellaneous expenses. However, the figures I'm going to be giving you guys in this video is strictly based on research and what I have seen as someone that has lived in Canada for over 2 years. I also came here as a student, so which gives me a very good background to talk to the students, okay, and also talk to someone who is here on a work permit, or who is coming here on a work permit, or someone that is coming here as a permanent resident, because I'm currently working and holding a work permit in Canada, so I have both experiences. Let's dive into the first segment, which is the tuition fee. Bear in mind that cost of tuition in Canada is largely dependent on the course that you're studying, okay. There are some courses that are quite expensive and there are some that are, way cheaper. Based on my research and what I've seen here, I've realized that courses that are related to human resource, courses that are related to computer science, MBAs, some of those courses, not even talk about medical field like nursing, some of those courses are quite on the high side. So you would have to probably look into the university or the college that you're going to actually find out the exact amount. However, for the purpose of this video, undergraduate programs in Canada would typically range from 15,000 to 40,000 Canadian dollars in a year. And like I said, it's going to be dependent on the program that you are taking. Good news for my folks that are coming for graduate programs are slightly cheaper. Again, the same laws still apply. If you're coming for MBA, human resource, those are programs that are slightly expensive, also because they are in high demand and they are very professionally related kind of program. They are slightly more expensive compared to other programs in the arts, social sciences, and humanities. But to put a price cap on it, you should be considering that if you're doing a master's program in Canada in 2025, your tuition is definitely going to be between 10,000 to at least 25,000 in a year. Now let's move to rent and utilities, and I think that this one is the most interesting one, because a lot of people just want to know the cost of living in Canada, and I'm not going to be the one to break it to you that cost of living is actually going high everywhere in the world. So it's not just Canada. I know that when I came here, my rent has increased from what I used to pay, and I still stay in the same apartment. My rent has increased from what I used to pay last 2 years, right? It has increased, and cost of phone bills, cost of every other thing has increased, just as it is increasing all over the world. So Canada is not an exemption. However, this increase is also hugely dependent on the city and the province where you are going to be residing, or where you reside in Canada. Some of the most expensive cities to live in Canada would include Vancouver and Toronto. Those are the ones at the top of my head. So if you're looking to move to any of these cities, be sure that you're going to be paying at least 1,200 to 2,000 in a shared apartment, guys. So if you want to stay in your own apartment, you can do the math and think of what the cost would be. I have also filmed a video on this channel talking about where you can find accommodation in Canada. I'm going to of course link that video here. Make sure that you check it out, and also in the description box, because that video is going to give you the resources that you need to start looking for houses, so you understand the things that are very important when you are deciding to get an apartment. If you're moving to Quebec, rent in Montreal is slightly cheaper than it is in Vancouver. For a shared apartment, you should be paying between 800 to 1,000 for per month. Why am I sharing the cost for shared apartment? Because I know that most students that come here initially start off with shared apartments, so it's only fair that I break it down that way. So if you want to stay in a fully paid apartment, just add about 1,000 or 1,500 to the cost that I've given you for the shared apartment, and that will give you an idea of what a full apartment would cost you. Now, if you're looking to move to any other city in Canada, being that we've already kind of highlighted the big cities and the most expensive provinces, if you're looking to move to other cheaper provinces, your rent should be costing you between $400 to $1,200 in a shared apartment. Tips that can help you save money on rent here would also be to consider living in, a town that is close to the city. If you're moving to Toronto, you can consider living in Mississauga, just living slightly away from the city. And if the transportation system in the city is good, it wouldn't be much stress on you and you will still be able to cope. Now, the next point here is food and groceries. And of course, I know that this is a big deal, and I've been one of the people that actively have complained about the cost of groceries. Honestly, in Canada, it's on the rise, very, very much on the rise. Depending on how much food you consume in a day, or like what your lifestyle is really, you will be spending between $150 to $450 in a month on just groceries and food. Another way that you can save money in Canada, which is something that I do a lot, is to bulk buy. I buy things in bulk, that way it lasts me for a long time. So if I'm going to the grocery store to pick something, I'm probably just restocking on things that I just need. If you're a student or a new immigrant, you also want to reduce how much you eat out. I mean, it's not just for students and new immigrants. I mean, reduce it. You're spending a lot of money for something that I think that you can make at home and make like a better quality. And trust me, I'm not even saying don't buy food out. You can always buy food out once in a while, I mean, you have times that you will need to buy food out, but don't make it a habit, because if you make it a habit, you're not going to save any money. It's not going to be helpful to you. People say that there are stores that you can buy things cheaper, but personally, I've shopped in most stores in Canada, Walmart, Superstore, No Frills. I've shopped in most of them, and I personally think that the price range is pretty much the same. You might find things that are slightly cheaper you might find things and see that they are slightly cheaper in a particular store than the other. I would say that if you're looking to buy foodstuffs, shop your foodstuffs from places like No Frills, places like Superstore. Food items are reasonably priced there. And if you're looking to get houseware stuff, home piece stuff, then you can consider shopping them from Walmart. You can also use apps like Flash Food. Flash Food is an app that is used by the Superstore. Superstore is more like the biggest shopping store in Canada, and then Walmart as well. But this app is strictly used by Superstore. It's called Flash Food. So you can download this app. With this app, you can actually shop groceries from Superstore at discounted amounts. So maybe groceries will be expiring in 2 weeks and they just want them out, okay? So they will just put it in a discounted amount so people can shop it. So if you're looking to buy things that you need to eat immediately, of course, it's an option that you can explore and save yourself some money. I also know that some provinces have what they call student meal plan. I don't know if it's meal plan, every province call it, or grocery support. I think that I enjoyed that a little bit when I was a student as well. So what you do is that you sign up with your city, the city where you live as a student, and from time to time, I think every 2 weeks or 3 weeks, they give food, they deliver food to students if you're registered with them. And yeah, I think it's something you can also Google. I don't know what city you are in. You can put it on Google and I'm sure that you're going to find ideas. I stay in Regina, Saskatchewan. So in Regina, it is called the Regina Food Bank. So you can Google that, and you can also go to the university and let them know that you want to participate in the university pantry. I think I also received that a little bit. So this one should apply to most schools. You can go to your university, the international student session, and let them know that you want to participate in the student pantry. So I think every 2 weeks or at least once in a month, they have a way that they bring food items, not just food items, clothing, personal items. There are so many things that I've seen there, and they give these things out for free. I forgot to mention one section that I was going to talk about in this video, which is the phone and internet. This is very important because it's a digital age. Everybody uses their phone, and for me, I think that when I came to Canada, and I'm also going to give you guys tips as as students, and not just students, even like PR, permanent residents, work permit holders, like I already did say in the beginning of this video. If you come to Canada, please avoid financing things a lot, because it's going to save you a lot of stress, especially when you can, when you can do without it. If you came here and your phone is bad and clearly there is nothing you can do, why not go for it? You need to communicate to get jobs and stuff like that, right? But if you have means, if you can cope till you graduate, please, by all means, do not jump into financing phones, okay? But for your internet bill, that is definitely something that you must pay. Your phone bills now, for those that are not in Canada and might not understand the concept, it's just the internet. It's just the what's it called now, the SIM card. So when you buy your SIM card, it usually has a phone plan to it. It probably will give you data, internet that you can use to browse, credit that you can use to call. So that is what we call the phone plan. So if you have a phone that is working, that you came into Canada, we just get a phone plan, and the phone plan should cost you between $40 to $75 every month, depending on what you opt for and the gigs or the credits that you get on the phone plan. And there's a student as well. Make sure that you're letting them know that you're a student, because students get lots of discount. When I came here, I was paying about $30 something for my phone plan, as a student, and then with tax it was about $45 or so, which is a steal. If you're getting the internet plan with a device that is a new phone, it's gonna cost you more, okay, because they are going to now charge you for the device. That is why I say, if you're new here and you don't have a job, or you're still a student and you have something that you're already using that is working, please just don't finance a phone till you are done, okay? Because there's always going to be latest technology, honestly, okay? So don't put that pressure on yourself. Another bill that you'll be paying under the internet and phone station is going to be your home internet, okay? So apart from the phone that you use, there's also going to be a home Wi-Fi, because most apartments or most buildings would not offer you that Wi-Fi. Some do attach it to the bill, to your monthly rent and utility bills, okay? Whereas some do not, so you would have to pay for that. For the most part, that should be ranging between $50 to $80 in a month. And if you have a shared apartment, you're going to be sharing it with people that you live with. The next segment is transportation. I know that is the most important thing, all right? Because if you can't get by, if you can't get from one point to the other, what is the need? I'm going to break transportation down here. So for the most part, if we come here newly, we use the public system of transportation. And it's good that you know that for your university, if you're registered as a student and you're enrolled for that semester, you are mostly, for most provinces and for most cities, for the most part, you already charge the transportation fee. They've already charged it to your tuition, so you do not have to purchase a different bus pass for the whole semester. But let's say for semesters that you're not taking courses, you're not taking any class, so you didn't enroll, so you don't have that bus pass for that semester, you'll be spending between $90 to $120, depending on the city you are in, just to get your bus pass to transition within the city. So yeah, the bus system is majorly the most popular means of transportation in most parts of Canada. There is also Uber, and I will definitely advise that you minimize your use of Uber, because the bills pile up and accumulate so fast. Pro tips for people that save some money before they came to Canada: you can also purchase a car. I did buy a car as a student when I came here. I bought a car within my couple of months here, and that is because genuinely God favored me and I was able to save up the money and I bought the car. That still takes me back to the previous point that I made. Do not finance a car. Do not finance a car as a student, except if people are paying your tuition and you have the means. Oh my goodness, who am I to tell you what to do, my love? Go for it, enjoy. I'm all up for you to enjoy this life, okay? But if you're the one paying your tuition, working your life out here to pay your tuition, I wouldn't really advise you to get a car. So if you're able to save some money and get a car, good, get a car. I do also that helps me save money with my car. There is no two ways about it. You just have to drive the car, but it's to look for stations, filling stations that sell cheap gas. Not cheap, good gas, but there's this filling station that I normally buy. It's not well furnished. It's not like the most aesthetic looking filling station, but I buy gas there because gas is cheaper. But big stations, aesthetically looking ones, you think that those things, they don't charge you money for it. So I look for cheap stations where I buy gas. And what I also try to do is to fill up my tank every time. That way I can track how much my car takes, and not just going into the station and filling $25 the next week. So it doesn't help me track my finances better. So I know that if I'm putting a gas of $80 in my car, it's lasting me for 3 weeks or 1 month, because it also depends on how much you drive. I live in a small city, so my city is not so big, so that lasts me for that much. Let's talk about healthcare and insurance. For healthcare in Canada, your healthcare in Canada is free. I think it's one of the things that sells Canada, okay? And when they tell you it's free, it's free. But there is a but to that. If you're not critically ill, I noticed that if you're not like very ill in a critical stage, let me not complete that, but getting healthcare here is free, pretty much free. So, and if you have a good job also, some of those things, I mean, if you get a job while you're still a student that has some of your insurances covered, you will also be getting some of these things free as well. And as a student, majorly your dental plan is free, so make sure you use it as a student. Go for that scaling and polishing, go for so many things that you can achieve, okay? And even for your eye test and some of these things, they are free because they have already been added to your tuition. So please, my students, make sure you use some of these insurances before you finish your program because you've already paid for them. It's only fair that you enjoy them. However, if you're opting for additional healthcare, if there's something that is extra that you want to do, I don't know what that would be, but just budget around $600 to $800 in a month because healthcare really is not cheap. As I'm talking to you guys and looking at my notes, there are so many things I wrote that I did not, give you guys the pointers in the beginning of this video, but of course I'm going to be sharing them. So the next one I'm going to talk about is entertainment and social life, and it really depends on you and how your lifestyle is. Personally, I'm not a very social type of person. I mean, in terms of going out and having that kind of social gathering, it's not my thing, so I didn't really spend much in that area as a student. But if you have need for that, to go to the museum, there are times that you would have to do that, but also know that Canada is very cold, and if you live in the colder part, you know that you have only summer to do this, and there's only so much you can do within 4 months. So with good discount and all of that, you should be spending nothing less than $100 to $150 in a month. The next point I'm discussing here is study materials for students, okay? It also depends on your course. Honestly, these things kind of depend a lot on you, your course, your life, the trajectories of things unfolding for you, to be honest. But just know that as a student here, you might have times that you might need to buy course materials, to buy handouts, not necessarily the way we think of it, handout, like buy. The lecturers might just, or instructors might just recommend a book or an article or something that you have to read for a particular course, and you have to buy it. But it's not something I think that I experienced so much during my studies because I didn't have to buy much courses. So you can also find ways to save cost. Number one way that I saved cost was connecting with people that already were like a semester or a year ahead of me and getting materials from them for the same courses. So then if they paid for it, I wouldn't need to pay for it. So that's a way that you can save money. Another way is buying used books. You can find those used books on Amazon and Facebook Marketplace as well. The third way that you can also reduce the cost of study materials is also to borrow books from the library, okay? You can also borrow books and you can photocopy them at the library, and as a student you can photocopy at no cost. One thing I also did when I was a student was to scan a lot. I used my phone to snap, and I use this app called Tap Scan to scan the textbook, and I just read from my phone or my laptop. However, depending on how much course materials you will need for your program, you might be spending between $100 to $450 per semester for your course materials. The last expense I'm going to talk about in this video is what I call the emergency fund. You guys, I do not know, but like this is just me advising you that even in the midst of the chaos, I know that it's so difficult to pay all of these bills and still be able to save money, but it's very important that you're able to keep something aside because things could come up. When I was a student, when I just came here, that was something that I did religiously, okay? I tried to keep something, like for each of your paycheck you can decide to keep $10, you can decide to keep 20, 50, depending on how much you earn, because there might be a situation that would come up, and you would need that extra fund. For instance, I know a friend that was asked to leave their apartment, okay, and this apartment cost cheaper, right? And then when they were asked to move, they couldn't get something cheap below that. So if they hadn't saved up to be able to make up for that, it would have been a difficult situation, and they were given immediate quick notice, like to leave the house, that the landlord wanted to sell it. So these are the things that you can think of, contingency plans, like things could come up. So my advice for you is to make sure you have emergency fund, no matter how little. Save up something so that if you're asking for help from people, at least you have something to start with. To wrap up this video, I'm going to be giving you guys total monthly budget, okay, budget breakdown for people living in big cities, mid-sized cities, and small cities. And of course, I'm not going to end the video without giving you guys money saving tips that you can use to save money. For major cities, just come at home and at peace with the fact that you're going to be spending about 2,500 to 3,500 per month for all the utilities and all the bills that I've listed for you guys. And for mid-sized cities, just have in mind that you'll be spending between 1,800 to 2,500 monthly for your bills. And for smaller cities, have in mind that you'll be spending between 1,500 to $2,000 every month. For all the dollar amounts that I've given in this video, they are all in Canadian dollars, not in USD. And of course, like I did say in the beginning of this video, it's also very, very dependent on the city and your lifestyle. And for money saving tips, I've kind of hinted you guys on some of them. First, always look for discounts. You guys look for discount. And the good thing is that there are actually discounts. If you're looking to buy a phone, if you can wait till like Black Friday, Boxing sales, sometimes they have those great discounts for students. People get things on discounted prices, and if you're going to buy something that you're going to be financing like a phone, if you get it on a discounted price, it's so good because this is something you're going to be paying for like about 2 years. So make sure that you're always looking for discounts everywhere. Shop from thrift stores, you guys. I cannot even overemphasize on this. I shop a lot from thrift stores and they've saved me a lot of money. Sell your used items, things that you've had in your house you don't use, even clothing, put them on Facebook Marketplace. House piece, decorative piece you've had, you don't use them, put them on Facebook Marketplace. Those are going to give you some money that you're going to use for extra expenses. Get a part-time job, okay? I'm still going to make a video talking about jobs that you can do as a part-time student. I'm sure this video would have gone up before that, but I also have a lot of videos that I've made about getting part-time jobs as a student in Canada. So I'm going to link them here, or at least one of them. Make sure that you have a job. Make sure you're getting part-time jobs that you can use for extra income. When I was a student, I worked multiple jobs just because I didn't get enough hours here. I needed to combine some jobs to work. So as a student, you can combine jobs, but make sure that at the same time you're still prioritizing the most important thing, which is your academics, so that they don't send you back. And the last but not the least, make sure you're using your credit card. I've seen people say, I don't use my credit card. I don't want to use credit. I know that in Africa, credit card is not a thing, but here, make sure you use your credit cards. And there are credit cards that are cashback credit cards. And when you go to the bank to open up your bank account, make sure you're telling them that you're a student, because when they're opening your bank account, they're going to give you open account that will have interest free or low interest for you, so you don't have to pay crazy interest. Because I tell you, Western world is built on capitalism, so there is a lot of payment that you will do if you're not careful and exploring the best opportunities for yourself. In conclusion, remember that the amount that I've given you guys are like average cost, so make sure you plan, make sure you research and plan your life. Make sure you are tracking your expenses, and do not forget to check the specific cost for your university, your province, and your city. I hope you guys found this video helpful. Please, if you found it helpful, give me a like, give me a thumbs up. And if you're already in Canada and you have tips that can help people that are just coming here to save money and thrive in Canada, please leave it in the comment section. I know that some people will definitely find it helpful. Do not leave without subscribing, you guys. If you watch to this end, you found something useful. So I hope that you subscribe so that you keep getting more educative and valuable videos like this from my channel. Thank you guys so much, and I'll see you in my next video. Bye.